Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us on another trip to Nintendoland, our Nintendo podcast over here at irrationalpassions.com. I'm your host, Mike Burgess, video producer for the site, and I'm joined with some wonderful people this time because we got a whole heck of a lot of news to talk about. Boy, howdy. First up, my co-host, as always, Alex O'Neill. Hey, Alex, how you doing?
I'm here to tell you all that Skyward Sword is mediocre, actually.
Okay, great.
Damn. Damn.
Yep, that's right. We're already.
We have to start hot.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, we got to start with that. The thing everybody realized back in the day, even though I've not played it, so I'm just gonna go with what you're saying.
We're gonna take the take that.
Yeah, that's right. And we're also joined by a special guest, AJ from Fanatix Four. How you doing, AJ?
Oh, I gotta think of a hot take.
Oh no!
I did put you on the spot with that.
Yes.
Quick, how do you feel about F-Zero?
F-Zero sucks. No,
Got him. That's right. Got him. No wonder it's in the. No wonder it's in the
shooting game.
Pokemon Snap is a shooting game.
It's a shooter.
You're right. Excellent. I mean, I didn't have a hot take either. I guess my hot take was Sword and Shield. Pokemon Sword and Shield is a good video game. There's my hot take.
I was getting ready to fight.
I'm here. I'm good. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. But all right, we have a bunch of news to talk about. We're gonna just for listeners. We usually do games talk, like games we're playing at the end. But since there was so much news, Nintendo and Pokemon Company dropped on us, we're just gonna focus on news for this episode because there's a lot. Yeah, because holy crap, an actual Nintendo Direct happened. Like,
yeah, I was gonna ask,
right?
How's everybody feeling? 530 days between directs. How did y'all feel walking out of that?
Okay, so I go through a gradient of emotions when directs are announced. First emotion, hype, sick.
Yep.
Immediately after that,
all the way.
Damn, I'm so upset that there's going to be a direct because I don't want to deal with the discourse.
Yeah.
I'm already dreading the discourse where it's like everybody begs for a direct for this long and there's no way for it to please people. They built up their own expectations where it's like, I mean, we've had directs since then, but people are like, this isn't the real one. The real one will be the second coming, now that we have this and it's not for some people.
Yeah, so, totally. Everyone they want the one game they want so badly to see more of, and if it's not here, it's trash. Like that's always what it's got to be, and it's like people just get so crazy. Yeah, I totally agree.
I'll see people come out of a direct and be like, that direct sucked. There's only 7 games that I'm wanting. And I'm like, what? Like, you want hundreds of dollars worth of things from this 20-minute direct. How can it be bad?
Yeah,
like,
it's so true.
It's trash, but I'm gonna buy Mario Golf on day one. How dare you? It's ridiculous. But yeah, let's just get into that Nintendo Direct. It happened like a little bit over a week ago from when we're recording this. And I pulled out, so for us here recording this thing, I pulled out some of the big bullet points, at least what I thought were some of the bigger points, at least the ones that interest me. But I pulled all of it. There's some minor bits. I didn't really think we want to talk about stuff like, hey, Fall Guys is on Switch, whatever. You know,
where
what I mean?
are my Mario costumes? Let me talk about this.
I know, right?
I've got an essay. I'll just read it to you guys.
Your Mario costumes. we really have to break down that single slide they put up for Age of Calamity DLC. Let's really break it down here. That's what we're here to do. No, we're not gonna do that. But the first, we'll go a little bit in order for the direct. The first thing was a new Smash character got announced. Pyra and Mista.
I got beat
Mythra.
by this hard.
Yeah,
it was like,
I did too. I was surprised.
It was like, is this Xenoblade? Because like I'm usually especially since we knew that they were going to talk about Smash ahead of time. Right. I was expecting like the whole Smash like slash the screen stuff at the beginning. I'm like, that wasn't there, so this can't be Smash. And then it was like, oh, this is freaking Final Destination. Oh, okay, yep, Smash.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, that went when it went on for like. I think when it dawned on me was when like it started Xenoblade and then it was going and then it started going for what felt like 20 minutes before they like got to the point where they revealed them as a character, and I was just like, okay, they can't. No, there's no way they're like announcing more Xenoblade Chronicles 2, or more DLC or some weird thing like that. So I was just like, okay, this got to be our Smash character, but it came with a cool twist that like it's Pyra and Mythra as a single character.
Yeah. Super cool.
Yeah, which is Pokemon trainer with a sword.
Yeah, anime lady Pokemon trainer. What everybody wanted, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm down.
Yeah, I know. Down. Yeah. I'm definitely curious. Like I don't really know much about Xenoblade Chronicles. I've not really played much of the games, but they look like a cool character. We're recording this like the day before. I think Sakurai is gonna do his crazy breakdown for the characters, and we'll get a date. So we don't really know that much specifics. We just got like the cool flashy CG trailer.
I think this character's broken. Just off of what we saw, this character's broken. Like this character is obscene. Like
nerf this character into the ground.
Please do. I'm being serious. No, don't nerf her because I want to play her and make people realize that she's broken
and just trash on everybody online.
Yeah,
love it.
Down B, like transform out of attacks, turn into Mythra.
Yeah, she keeps her momentum, and that's the thing that's broken about, because Pokemon trainer like stalls. Like Pokemon trainer's like, okay, switch. All right, you're stuck there. So like if somebody knew that you're going to switch, you get punished for it. But they switch and they can still move. They still like can be mid attack. You know, it's like that alone is crazy. People are like, oh, but her specials are kind of slow. If you're good at the game, you don't need your specials. You can literally just abuse the thing that's good about. If you have 2 good moves and those moves are broken, you can just use those moves and win.
Keep using it over and over again. Yeah, that's interesting here, because that was something that's good that you noticed that, because I didn't see that. That does seem pretty nuts. And I'm curious to see like how much utility, like, because I noticed like I went to the Smash Bros website and like Pokemon Trainer, they did like denote the like Pyra and Mythra as 2 characters, like they're numbered like I think it's like 79 and 80 or something like that. So it's like it seems like they will be like different characters. It won't just be like, you swap to one and they have like the same kind of moves. It will be like they have different moves.
Yeah, so it looks like the whole thing is like Pyra and Mythra. The separation is like Mythra is the fast but weak character, and Pyra is the slow but strong character. But Pyra looks still fast. Scheme of things. And Mythra doesn't look like, I don't know, chic weak, like she looks like she can do some stuff. Like,
they can move around relatively quickly. I'm pretty stoked to see the ridiculous Sakurai breakdowns as always on those. Those are always fun to watch, and he's really into it, of course. So like that makes those videos even more fun.
The history lesson, dude.
Yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Yeah, he's gonna talk about the DLC and like. He's probably gonna spoil everything because they already apparently there was already spoilers for the games like in that first trailer, which is pretty funny. And
I think like Mythra is kind of a spoiler already.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I mean like at this point they're going in all in, considering they literally have the entire ending of Final Fantasy VII as a stage in the game. So at this point, they're just like, F it. Let's just
like, if you haven't played video games, so you're all getting spoiled. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, if you can't keep up with me, then too bad. I already beat these games. You need to catch up.
He's like, if I can play all these video games and I develop Super Smash Brothers,
exactly,
you have no excuse.
You got to step it up.
You better step it up and play all these games. But yeah, I'm stoked that like I said, we fortunately recording time, so we didn't get to see the whole breakdown, but it seems like it'll be the day after we're recording this. So like when this goes up, it probably will have happened, and too bad. You'll know more than us by that point. So wow.
Yeah. Enjoy the anime fighter.
Exactly. And it seems like from what I've seen, people online saying they like the character might be relatively soon too, which is also cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, we'll see what Pyra and Mythra are up to in Smash soon, and I'm sure we'll play some on the site at some point.
Yeah.
After that, we got a new Monster Hunter Rise trailer showing off. I feel like literally every trailer that they showed for Monster Hunter Rise like looks good, but they were also always teasing like this some other mode for like 4 trailers. And it was very clear like what the mode was, where it's just like they were like, it's like the stampede is coming, so it's like, okay, you're gonna have a bunch of monsters like run at us at once and we're gonna have to fight them all. And it's like they're making, I felt like the trailer's just making a bigger deal out of it than it was personally. And they finally showed this trailer and it was just that, like, it's just like, oh, here's like 3 monsters just running down this big hallway and you're just fighting them all at the same time. And it's like,
It's
okay,
a literal boss rush.
yeah, literal boss rush, yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, I'm looking forward to that game. I just thought that was like funny and weird how they were like, the stampede mode, you're not ready for it, we're gonna reveal it later. And it's just like, okay,
gotta build up to that monster.
It's gonna be a bunch of monsters fighting at once or whatever.
Yeah, but now there's 3 monsters.
Yeah, you're right, you're totally right. Game changer.
It's true.
But I mean,
happens in 3s.
I mean, I guess like there has been a little bit of that in World when like monsters can like fight each other in the environments, which I'm glad like that's still a thing. Like I feel like that was shown a little bit more in this new trailer as well, where like here's a bunch of different monsters in different environments, like running into each other and having these like epic moments where they're like battling down in front of you that were like super cool in World. And it seems like they're just doing even more of that in this game, so I'm stoked that that's going to keep being a thing.
It's the best part of World in my opinion, and I'm excited to see, like, this is the first big Monster Hunter after World, so I'm just excited to see how people react to it.
Yeah, me too. And I'm excited to play it because I didn't really play much Monster Hunter before this or before World, and had fun with World. And this, like you said, it seems more like that. And I played a little bit of the demo. I didn't play too much of it, and like definitely felt like, okay, yeah, this is this. I have not played Monster Hunter Wild, and it's super complex, so I don't feel like putting my brain power into this demo sort of thing. So I jumped. So I'm just gonna wait to jump in fully when the game comes out later this month. Not super far off.
So the 26th, right? Is Monster Hunter?
Yeah, that sounds right. Yep. 26th, I think.
Toward the end of the month. That's cool.
So yeah, Monster Hunter Rise keeps on trucking, and I'm stoked for it.
But this is the real hype announcement.
Yeah, this is the real one. I was feeling Mario Golf in my bones, like specifically for like 2021, like the 2021. I was like, okay, this like they it's been long enough since that tennis game came out, Aces, like golf has to be coming, right? And of course they announced it this year, Mario Golf Super Rush, and looks so good. I think it looked great.
I'm very down for this game. As soon as I saw Yoshi freaking book it, like this man, this man put it all on the line. He's like, I am a professional rusher. I am going to tennis this rush or golf this rush so hard, dude.
I'm gonna full sprint toward this ball.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump on a Yoshi. I'm gonna jump on a Yoshi egg that has my own another Yoshi in it probably. Which is weird to think about, and just sprint across this field. And that whole mode they showed, like this mode people hadn't watched. Now, and for the video version, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll have footage of everything, so you can check that out on YouTube.
What's it called? Like golf runs?
I think it's just called speed golf, isn't that?
Speed golf. That's right.
Yeah. But it's literally like, there is like an actual, I think, like in real quote unquote golf, they like there's places that do this where you let it hit the ball and have to like run after the ball, but it's it's done up in Mario form, so like they're using power-ups, like it showed Mario get a superstar, and they have like super meters and stuff like you can see in some of the footage.
A red shell at the back of somebody's head.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder if I hope they do like full on bring like Mario Kart items into this. That'd be so good. Like having like a lightning bolt and like shrinking everybody and like then like running over them or something. That'd be super cool. Like maybe like a blue shell or something too. Super fun. I
want to know if there's like drivable golf carts in this mode. Like, can you run over some? Can I run over?
Is that a power up?
yeah, totally. That'd be amazing. Yeah, like
can I run over Bowser in his cool flame shirt? And I
really do love all of the outfits they gave those characters. They gave Wario like a full on like cowboy hat and like checkered pants
Warrior's outfit's maybe the best.
Yeah, he looks ridiculous, but I love it so much. Like they're going all out for it, and I love it. And they also made a really big deal out of the story mode. There's gonna be like a single player, I guess, story mode thing in this game, which I think like a lot of the handheld golf Mario Golf games had, and they were like really good in that. So I'm curious how they'll translate it into a fully 3D game. Although like Mario Tennis Aces had a story mode, and I didn't really enjoy that too much. So I'm hoping this pans out a little better. Like it seemed a little bit more interesting than that at least. And and golf has always been like the Mario sports game I just enjoy more than some of the others. It's not as fast paced, but I think like there's just as much like you can kind of fuck with your friends sort of stuff going on in Mario Golf that I've always enjoyed. So yeah,
I like that this is taking that to like the natural next extreme of like,
Yes.
all right, now I'm gonna run over my friend with a Yoshi and an egg.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I want to see. I saw like you can see in the footage like Donkey Kong is one of the things I'm curious like what his like super attack is, and I just want to see him just like run full sprint at a toad and just like deck him out of the way or something like that. just how ridiculous that would look. Yeah.
Just gets a coconut gun out and just starts shooting.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm back in. Sold. Even more in. Yes,
I am now down. Yeah, I'll play golf now.
Yes, that game's super fun, and like and I'm sure like I played a little bit of the 3DS Mario Golf, which is the last one, which is years ago, but that one was really good. Like and its online play was actually like surprisingly really good, so that gives me high hopes. This one will have really good online stuff as well. And that's coming June 25th. So it's not super far off.
Yeah, just in time for summer.
Yeah, a good summertime kick off the summer.
Because we can't play golf in real life.
Probably not for sure. But especially by then, I highly doubt it. But yeah, that was like y'all said. Like I think this was like the first kind of really big like reveal of the direct. That was really cool, and I was like, excellent. Yeah. New game. I'm just looking forward to it. Another game I'm very much looking forward to, but was disappointed by the date, was No More Heroes 3. It got dated. Finally. August 27th. Ouch.
So far.
Ouch, that hurt when I saw that date pop up. Because I'm a big fan of those original games. And at least this gives me time because I have not replayed those games in quite some time, and they're now on Switch. So I'll probably replay those in the meantime.
Gives you the perfect amount of time. Actually, probably too much time. I don't think those games are that long.
That's super long. But I'll be curious.
You have all those yards to mow, so
exactly. I need to collect some coconuts and collect some trash. Get all that money and slice some dudes and yell fuckheads a bunch, and it's a great time. No More Heroes is a great game.
I see it. AJ, have you played No More Heroes a lot?
I played literally just Travis Strikes Again or whatever because Nintendo sent it to me. And I was like, there's a lot of hype here. People like this game. I'll check this out. And it turns out it's not the game that would like enlighten me on why people like it.
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't like that very much, but I am into checking this one out and seeing what, because like I don't know if you guys know Rolla2 Review, who's a YouTuber that really like games. He was like, do not try the first two because the first two were like Wii games and they have like Wii game like sensibilities, like early Wii game sensibilities that people don't like and that they didn't really age well. So probably leave a bad taste in your mouth if you aren't like conditioned to like, okay, I get that. I played this game back then and I understand or even like it for those things.
Right.
So I don't want to tank my experience of this game by playing through older games and judging it based on that.
Yeah, that's totally fair. Because
I think like at least coming off this trailer, like it seems like they're trying to channel some of that energy of that very first game, like No More Heroes 1 specifically, because that's the only one I've played, and that I played it in the time, and I was like, I don't like these. I don't want to run around and do chores for. I'd like shake trees and get coconuts or something at some point. And there's like a really poor driving motorcycle, I think. And I like the charm. I like the idea of like having to spend time in an area and like just do bullshit for people. So, and it seems like they're bringing that back into 3, hopefully a little bit more palatable.
Yeah, because like I feel like like that first game leaned into that like chore stuff a little too hard. And it was also like semi open world game, which was kind of weird.
Yeah.
And then the second game like reeled back on that stuff hard, because that was like a lot of people's complaint with that first game was just like, you just kind of do way too much like boring meandering like stuff in between, because like the whole premise is like Travis Touchdown is an assassin, like a wannabe assassin, and he's like trying to climb himself up the ranks of these assassinations. So like you have these cool like boss fights and like preludes to these fights, but he is kind of working for himself, so he has to like pay the money to like get into a fight, because it's like the whole like system works. So like in between the fights is like you're like going around doing remedial chores like mowing lawns or like helping people in like the big open world, like sort of open worldish area.
I want a game where Travis is on that YouTube grind where he's just like pumping out videos, trying to get the Admiral.
Travis Touchdown.
Like, I'm gonna leak No More Heroes 4, then I'll blow up.
Yeah, that'd be really good. I just want him to be.
I hope that's a subplot in No More Heroes 3.
Please, yeah. He's like live streaming every fight he does, and just please like, comment, and subscribe, and he just chops some dude's head off. Yeah.
Oh, no, but he's got to do it on the slide, because he's like, oh man, YouTube changed. They're going to demonetize me now. I can't murder somebody. Get ad revenue for it.
You have to like purposely not try and murder people. You have to not get demonetized. Oh,
it's just showing the aftermath. Oh,
I'd play that. I'd play that game. I'd very much play that game. But yeah, like two went in the opposite direction a little bit of that, of like people did not like that stuff, so they like took out the open world entirely, and then you just went fight to fight, and then like it felt like they like reined back a little bit, because like there was some still like fun like world building and charm that was in some of that ridiculous stuff.
Sure.
But it's I totally get the. It was a time and place sort of game when the Wii was a thing, and now that technology does not hold up. And I've not played the Switch versions yet, so I'm not sure how they translate into that. So I still would like to check them out though. But yeah, this new one, I really like the setup for this, of like you're still technically trying to rise up the assassin ranks, but now you're fighting like galactic assassins and aliens and stuff. Monsters. It looks it's the perfect trajectory of this, like getting more and more of the top. So I'm super stoked to play that. But yeah, August 27th. Yeah, it hurt me when I saw that date pop. I was like, wow, that's way further than I thought.
I feel that. It's how I felt when Kina's date popped out. It's like August.
Yeah,
like,
right. Yeah.
I was surprised, but I mean, this is off topic, but I was surprised by Kina, because I thought that was going to come out before Ratchet, and I was like, I guess I'll play this on PlayStation 4. I mean, because I'm not getting a PlayStation 5 till Ratchet comes out, but it's coming out after, so that works for me.
Yeah, totally. But I was surprised by that too. Yeah, I think that's
August is going to be dope. That's what we're
August. It's going to be a lot of summer stuff. I think that's just like the the current state of the world and game development. I'm sure like a lot of games are gonna move and shift, and have been moving and shifting. So the next game that's all about moving and shifting, it's the segue, I guess. NeonWhite was a new indie game that was revealed. This is from Ben Esposito. He made like Donut County before this, and then there's another game that I'm forgetting the name of, but this looks like a dramatic departure from that, because like, the Donut County was literally you're controlling a hole in the ground and sucking things in. This was like a first person, like you're like almost like a first person Gambit from X-Men, like throwing cards and like picking up new cards, and you're getting like different abilities, and it looks like you're I don't think it like it initially looked like kind of like roguelite-ish, but I don't think it's actually a roguelite. He came out and said that after the fact. It's just kind of like a single player like story game that's like about first person, like throwing cards around. And so it's coming to the Switch. I don't think he got a date, but he did say this year. He said it's supposed to come out later this year. And also shout out to Steve Blum. He's still out there doing voice work, because he was in there.
Yeah.
That was like the one thing that popped out to me. I was like, oh yeah, Steve Blum. I haven't heard him in like years.
Being a grungy voice in video games. Yeah. As is always.
The thing that stuck out to me was the name, and I was like, "This is some edgy bullshit."
Yeah.
I don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah,
I
totally.
took a hard left. I was like, "This game looks dope. This game, I'm down." And
You
then
see the
NeonWhite, and I was like, "That makes no
NeonWhite.
fucking sense. I'm out."
Yeah, no idea what this even means. This is it.
That's not how light works.
Yeah,
Like,
none of this works. None of this makes sense.
It's Assassins in Heaven, you know?
Yeah, it gave me some like weird like Persona vibes for sure, and some of the stylistic choices. I know, so yeah, you're ready for that.
Yeah, AJ and I are nodding for very different reasons. AJ's like, "Yeah, I'm out," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm in." Sign me up.
Yeah, you're ready for those. You're ready for those Persona vibes for sure. Yeah, I might check it out. That might be one where like I maybe see how reviewers and people are feeling on that. If it ends up being really cool, but I liked Donut County. Like Ben Esposito makes some cool games. Yeah, some cool games.
Totally.
So I'll be curious to see that. Next one, the biggest, hottest news drop ever of this Nintendo Direct. Miitopia coming to Nintendo Switch, baby.
Yo, that means we're getting 3DS games. Kill the 3DS's legacy like you did the Wii U's.
Exactly.
Say, oh, you got a cool game? Not anymore. It's a Switch game now.
To start racking them off. Let's like, all right, let's get. We got Miitopia finally. Let's get. What is it?
Kid Icarus Uprising.
Kid Icarus Uprising.
Yo, please.
Let's get that. Let's get that.
Honestly, please. Yeah, I would love to play
Let's
that
get
game.
that weird submarine fighting game that came with the
Steel
launch.
Diver?
Steel Diver. Yep. Let's get what is it? The baseball dog 3DS game.
Oh my God, Rusty.
Yeah, Rusty's real deal. Rusty's real deal baseball.
Yeah,
That's what it is. Yep. Yeah, I mean, we're all the 3DS classics.
This game upset me because I'd rather it be Tomodachi Life, because Tomodachi Life is like all the like wacky social bullshit where it's it's like I could tell a friend like, yo, I'll never forgive you for the thing you did in this video game that you had no control over. Like I'm here for that.
I love Tomodachi Life for that exact same reason. It's just like so funny, and now like even more so like now like in a more social media infused world, like that game I feel like would finally get like a much more of a like uptick on social media and ridiculousness.
My share button will get so much use, dude.
Yeah, totally. Like sharing weird photos and like all like it would weirdly bring like a me renaissance back to Switch. Like people downloading Wii Mii's and stuff. Like, they disappeared.
Switch kind of hides Switch, the Mii's. They're like, yeah, it's your profile thing, but we don't really talk about it.
Dirty little secret. They're like, don't look at these. Don't worry about them.
No Mii. Only where it matters, and like you can get Mii's in Smash Bros. And like I don't really know much where else.
Yeah, and if you're using Mii's in Smash Bros, you're probably a degenerate.
Yeah.
You're probably one of those weirdos who bought the Saiyan's costume and is running around online.
But this is the thing. I'm mad about that because I made a video a while ago where it's like, can I win a Super Smash Bros. Tournament using just Squirtle? And one of the people that I fought had the Saiyan's costume, and I couldn't use the replay unless I bought the costume.
Oh,
so I was forced to spend $70 on the Saiyan's costume, 75 cents. On Saiyan's costume.
Trash.
Got that Undertale music though, so
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, for me, like seeing this, maybe they didn't choose Tomodachi Life because it would have been too good. That's the thing. It would have back, you know. And they're like, nah. Yeah.
The one thing I was like surprised by, even though it's like not like still like not a major thing, is like this game's $50. Like Nintendo actually bumped the price down on a video game that's like not like a Switch game.
I'm surprised, but it must have not sold that well on because usually that's what the thing is with them. It's like we think we can sell this at $60.
Yeah.
Like people say it's like, oh, this is an old game, so like do us a favor and
how dare they?
They're like, no, this is a game that still has value in the market, and you're gonna charge you for it. But this game, maybe they don't have that much faith in it. This looks like a remake. It doesn't even look like it's a port.
Yeah, it looks like a significant like visual upgrade to that game, which is like kind of surprising that they went all the way with it. who knows? Maybe they're setting it up. Maybe they gotta get Miitopia out so that Tomodachi Life can rise.
It's true, and they're going to charge $70 for that
yes,
one. They're like, this is the next gen version.
yeah, or do Tomodachi Life 2 or something from this and see how it does. Yeah. That's something all right, and that's May 21st for that. So that's right around the corner first. Yeah, I might check it out too. Just
I'm just hoping it has all the social shit, dude. Like like
easy way to share stuff.
Do that, then I'll be upset. But
yeah, that would be a major miss for that one. All right, next one was another big reveal. Actual big reveal, not was Project Triangle Strategy. I just love that name. It's ridiculous.
Just like LMAO is written in parentheses.
Yeah, because I was just I know, because I just wrote that down, and I just love the like audacity of it. Of like, we're just gonna call it, we're just gonna literally call this the thing it is. That's like calling it like a fighting game, like Project Punch
Kick
or something like that. Like it's like literally punch dive or something like that. Like it's just like ridiculous.
So I call it a fighting game dive kick. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's true. Who would ever do that? I was about to bring up that exact example.
Yeah, who would do that? Crazy people. In my opinion.
Yeah, true. Absolutely crazy people.
Yeah, but
it's pending title, guys. It'll probably change completely. They're not just going to drop the project.
Yeah, it'll just be triangle strategy.
I would find it hilarious if they just went all in and just like called it like something completely different, or just went or just called it Strategy Triangle.
Yeah, Strategy of the Triangle.
Yeah,
that's gonna
but that's fun. That's fun, but it does actually look really cool because it is like the Octopath Traveler developers, and they must be like maybe I'm mistaken. They were also working on Bravely Default 2, or was that like a different? I don't know if
I think it is like a different team now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's like same studio, different team sort of situation.
Okay.
Like how Pokemon, which we'll get to.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, because it looks like they just took the Bravely Default engine, more or less, or not Bravely Default, sorry, Octopath Traveler engine, and like just kind of retrofitted this into like another game, because it's like a tactics RPG. It's very Final Fantasy Tactics-esque. It's kind of definitely the vibe and kind of look and style of game it's going for, and I think that was very exciting for people. I could tell. Like, they were waiting for the day like something like this would finally come in a major fashion. And
this is another game that I had a visceral reaction to due to its marketing alone. Like not the name, the fact that they said HD 2D, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like literally.
It's like, what is this
series?
Please. The HD 2D series.
I fucking hate that buzzword. I hate it so
HD
much.
2D, yeah, that's a rough one.
The HD 2D series, that's right. I totally forget. Oh my god, that's right.
It's not
so insane.
To draw another state of play parallel. It's not as bad in my opinion
as 2.9D.
2.9D.
I was just bitching about that last night on a different podcast. I hate that too.
Yeah, I hate that more, I would say.
Yeah, that's probably
worse. It's like it's like 2D 3D all over again. 2D 3D or 3D 2D platformers or whatever the fuck.
It's Kirby and the crystal crystal stars or whatever all over again.
Yeah, all over again.
I will say, like, my co-host Scott Guthier on IPP, he's like, why isn't there a new Final Fantasy Tactics? And I in the same vein that, like, why isn't there another Final Fantasy 6? And I feel like that's what made Octopath Traveler in a lot of ways. Like, it is cool to see this. Is for me, like, the stuff that they mentioned of like the nations and all the choices that you're gonna have to directly and indirectly make by like having people on your side, and then it's important for them to side with you during major decisions, or else you won't have enough like pull to move the story forward in the way you want. That feels like a direct reaction to like Octopath Traveler, how like the characters never really talk to each other and stuff like that. Right. And it seems a little bit more tied together, which I think is really rad. And also, like, while Fire Emblem exists, like, you can definitely tell just by the gameplay that they showed off here of like, this is Final Fantasy Tactics in that it is way more technical. There's way more things you need to worry about. Like, they showed the fire on the ice terrain that makes water terrain that you can shock with lightning, and it's like, okay, yeah, there's a lot of intricate systems working. Yeah,
it seemed like there's a lot more different classes going on. Where, like,
and that's what people wanted. That's why people missed Tactics, because it was there were so many different things you could do.
Totally.
So I'm glad that they're just leaning into that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That like Final Fantasy Tactics is one like I tried a little bit but just didn't get into. I think that was more so just like when I tried it I was like very young, so I was just like I have no idea what I'm doing. So I just kind of skipped it. Where I think like I would check this out just because like we're probably not going to get like, well, maybe now we might finally get like Final Fantasy Tactics HD or whatever since this game's coming, and they're at least slightly interested now, considering they're making like a fully fledged new video game out of this like style of game. So that'd be cool. I'll probably check this out once it's out, but it's still like the project name and the HD 2D series.
and a demo out right now though.
Yeah, there's a demo on Switch right now. They're kind of doing what they did with the last few games they did. They like did like that with Octopath and Bravely Default 2 of like, hey, check this out now and we'll take feedback and then we'll incorporate that into this game. So, and I think that's cool. I think they're keeping that trend going, because like I feel like even though these I think these games are still generally pretty niche, all things considered, like this like very specific RPG style thing. So like them just being directly like, all right, let's get the crazy people who are really into these games. Let's just give an avenue to like sort of more directly like give us feedback so we can take that into account. Like I think that's a smart way to do it. Yeah. With these demos and the feedback they're getting from them. But yeah, there's a demo out now. If that sounds like your thing, go check it out. I didn't personally check out the demo. But yeah, it's out there. Yeah, you heard HD 2D and I was like, fuck that. I don't want this
HD 2D bullshit on my Switch.
A next game which is not HD 2D bullshit. Worlds.
But it is. Yeah, it literally. That's the thing that makes HD 2D a stupid name.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's so many 2D games that are in fact HD.
Yeah, it just works that way now. Everything's in HD, and Square Enix will learn that one day, I hope.
Like fuck, we published an HD 2D game years ago.
Yeah, holy shit,
we should have known.
Yeah, so yeah, Final Fantasy VII's in HD. What the fuck? Yeah, this is something like that. Yeah, there's surprised by it all this time. But yeah, this is Worlds. The next game they show was Worlds End Club, which is from like the Danganronpa developers, which I thought was like a cool reveal.
It's Virtue's Last Reward and Danganronpa, which is very much like, it's cool to see those people from those teams come together.
Oh, okay. So they're like teaming up to make this. That's cool.
Yeah, and I guess like this was out on Apple Arcade, and it ended with a cliffhanger.
Oh, nice.
So this is like the real game. I'm curious if like, the Apple Arcade one is they talk about in the game like how it starts,
a prequel sort of situation.
It might be, or it's just that first part where they're in the underground or underwater like theme park or whatever, and they just like spoil it. It's like, all right, and that's just the beginning. So it's different now.
Yep, we're moving on. We're done with that part.
Yeah,
it's a whole new game.
Which is like probably a really big reveal in that game, but they just are like, well, we have to sell this.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Get Apple Arcade to play this game?
Yeah.
Hell no, you're not. So let's go play this.
Nope. No one's going to do that, which is like weird because it's like weirdly cheap. But a lot of people don't have Apple phones too, which is fair. So yeah, it's I think that looked cool. That this is another one that I like. I know there are people who are way into Danganronpa and those style of like games. Yes. I haven't checked them out. I'd be curious. Like those might be on Switch now. I think maybe, or no, they haven't come to Switch yet.
Probably not actually.
Yeah, I don't think so.
They might eventually come.
Yeah, maybe now this is the pathway to open.
I don't think they're on Xbox either. It's one of those weird just PC and PlayStation right now.
Yeah, because then they originally started as like the portable like PSP, PS Vita.
Yeah, they were PSP and Vita games. Yeah.
Yeah, they started there and moved on up. Yeah, so but hey, maybe this is the game that lets them kind of pave that way to get it on Switch.
It's the gateway drug.
Yeah, the gateway drug.
Everybody try it, just
for the devs. You know? Yeah, check out that weird looking bear. You can own the game he's in. Look at that. Look at that.
Monokuma just wants to hang out. I promise.
But yeah, that's cool. That's out May 20. That's also in May 28th. So that's the same week as Miitopia. So. It's exciting.
Well, I know what I'm getting.
Yeah, exciting, big old exciting week of video games. That last week of May or so. Pretty cool. Yeah. Next up, we had our like everyone gasped because Eiji Aonuma, a Zelda creator, popped on the screen.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god!
You're just like, okay, it's finally
like,
timed.
No.
And he's like,
let me shut that shit down real quick.
Yeah, he's just like, yeah. It's like, stop.
You know what? I'm probably like the only one, but like when we were like in the dark, in the no idea what's going on, I'll take it like that. At least we're gonna know something by the end of the year.
Yeah, yeah. That's I kind of just went like, yeah, okay, fine.
I feel like I still feel like there's a chance that this game can come up, like Breath of the Wild 2 can come out this year, and I would prefer them not talk about it now. Like I would, it's like, how long do you really need to sell people on Breath of the Wild 2? Yeah, Breath of the Wild 2 is happening. Here's a trailer. It's coming out in a week. It's still going to sell 20 million units.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Totally. Yeah, people are already way in on that, and that's easily like the most anticipated like Switch release still, easily.
Yeah.
So
and it's one of those things of like, no, it's comforting knowing like the mystery of that game is at least going to be revealed.
Right.
And it's been fun to guess what it is, but we'll know soon. So
yeah, totally. And I think like that game is on its own. Like, granted, like we'll get into this now with what they went into revealing, and what I think we still might get some more info Zelda related later in the year. On top of this, is they announced Skyward Sword HD.
Yo, the best game, everyone's favorite.
The number one Zelda around the world. Everyone's
a pretty okay video game.
Yeah, pretty okay. The Nintendo Wii's breakout hit. It's probably.
This is like where like having irrational passions existing for 10 plus years is like a problem, because like my 10 out of 10 review of that game from 2011 still exists.
Yeah, you can go
and
back
it's like,
and be like,
yeah, I was there too, man. It was hard.
Yeah,
it was rough back then.
You have some unfortunate receipts. Way in the back of this website.
But this is the thing though, you'll get to be IGN when you review the new one and you're like 7.3.
It's trash.
The last one 10.
Yeah, what? Yeah,
it's literally
all
the
over
same
again,
game but better. Like,
yeah, how dare you? That's actually we actually really should do that. That'd be hilarious.
That actually would be fun. Maybe I'll
please actually give it a 7.3.
Yeah, like, it's not even like in our review score, but
but exactly. Just give it that and be like, 7.3. It's trash now. But yeah, they announced it. You know, I feel like this had been long rumored in some way, shape, or form. Like I feel like, like to a point where it was like, okay, this will probably just happen at some point, and they did it.
I feel like people thirsted this into existence personally, but
maybe you're right. Like I will say, like I never played Skyward Sword originally on the Wii. That's like the only 3D Zelda I didn't play. So I think it just hit at that time where I was like old enough to be like, I'm just not going to blindly get a video game or blindly be excited for a thing. Where it's just like I was on the internet by that point and being able to be like, okay, I don't really need this game yet. I just maybe I can just skip this, and like I think it came late enough in the Wii life cycle that I was like, I don't really feel like playing motion control video games anymore.
That's totally fair.
So I just kind of ended up skipping this one. For the fated day, it might come to something without motion controls, and guess what? Here it is,
July 16th.
July 16th, 2021. We can play Skyward Sword HD with or without motion controls.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to motion controls if they work.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole thing for me. It's like if it's not a thing of like, I'm trying to do thing, let me do thing video game.
Yeah.
And hopefully these are better, since the Switch's motion controls are better than Wii. So
yeah. That's the hope for sure. Like,
and if they're not, it doesn't matter.
It's improved. You can just turn it off. And it seems, they showed like, basically like the non-motion control is like you're using the right stick to basically like angle. Like it seems like it's like how the C stick works in Smash Bros. Almost of like you hit down and he slices downwards. You hit up and he slices up. Like at least that's like the impression I got from it, like how it would work.
It's only like an octo gate layer of range of movement, right? That's the sword is the most precise thing. So what I'm more curious about is like, because y'all, everything in this game use fucking motion control. How do you fly the loft wing? Because you just did this before, and how do you swim because you did this before? It's literally
just mapped it to buttons.
Exactly.
Hopefully,
hopefully, but it's just weird. Like, I guess people forgot all about that.
Yeah,
that was
right.
Thinking about that. AJ, did you play Skyward Sword?
Yeah, I played it. I don't think I finished it because it was like at the end of.
It's a long
and I was like, all right, new console, got it.
See ya.
Yeah, it's like 40 hours long, and it probably could have been fine with 20. You have to go to all the sections 3 times, and it's like that third time you're like, just get me out of here. Just let this end.
But it's the game that happened that made Breath of the Wild happen, because that's a stamina meter. Alex.
Yeah.
And crafting, and it has crafting too.
Oh, it does. Okay, that's right.
Like I hear a lot of people talk, because I made a video about this where like we had the hints that this was probably going to happen. Like AJ Aonuma was talking about for a very long time, where it's like that was like part of our development for Breath of the Wild, is we just dumped all our 3D Zelda games in our engine to see what it would look like, and this was one of the games that's just done. And people were like, oh, okay, so this will probably happen. And I was like, yeah, probably it'll just take the motion controls out, and they're like, this is an integral part of the game. I'm like, yeah, but they're game developers, dude. Like, take it out.
They can figure it out. Yeah, they can figure it out. Yeah.
And I like this solution. Like, it's just those more specific things that I'm worried about, right? Like,
right. Yeah. And I'm also curious if like the other Wii U HD ports of like Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, they did some more quality of lifey type additions too. They didn't really say if there's anything like that in this, but I'd assume or hope there's.
If I pick up a green rupee and it tells me what a green rupee is every goddamn time I turn off this game, they didn't do enough. I'll tell you what.
That's after Breath of the Wild, you can't do that anymore. You gotta cut it out.
Yeah, like it definitely seems like if they're willing to say like this is the game that predated that, and now they've made the game that they were gonna make now. Like, you're totally right. Like they can't just now be like, here's that game as it was at 100 to 100%. And I mean, like, granted they've already taken out, like, made it so you don't have to do motion control, so like it's not that, but still, like,
that seems like an easy fix for them, honestly.
Like if they're willing to go that far to like take out the motion control stuff, like I feel like they could also like do some other quality of life stuff too, like that. Does not seem that out of that much of a realm of like things to ask for.
I'm hopeful that they did it. I just am angry that they didn't mention it, because I wanted them to own up to it. Like look what you did. He's
just like, y'all, we were a little crazy back in those days, and those Wii motion control days.
Those Wii days where we had to tutorialize everything. It was kind of wild. But no, I will say, like, this game will be better with motion controls because it'll be more reliable to play. At the end, and more people will be able to play, because there's a lot of people that cannot use motion controls. It makes this game more accessible, and that's cool. It's a sweet story. Groose is a great character and has a great character arc, and he only exists in that game. So yeah, it's worth playing if you've never touched it, I think. But let's all calm down here.
The Joy-Cons, though, my God,
those are
double blue.
Yeah, double blues. The blue ones, they do look really nice.
They do look really nice.
Yeah, I think about it. I don't buy too many extra Joy-Cons, but
I only have one pair of Joy-Cons. So
this is literally the first set of extra Joy-Con that I have ever purchased, and I felt bad about it because I was like, I tweeted it and I was like, hey, I bought these Joy-Con. It's cool, right? And people were replying, they're like, fuck. And I'm like, what happened? And they like went out of stock apparently. I was like, damn, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to gloat. That wasn't the purpose of this.
That's funny. Yeah, I was gonna say, like I was curious about them. Like the only ones I ever thought of were those Animal Crossing ones. Those like nice pastel colors. I was like, those are cool. Those ones are really nice, but I don't know if they sell them separately or not. They might do now at this point.
They might now, but yeah,
I don't know. But anyway, those were kind of the big things from at least this little Zelda tease. But like Aonuma said in that, I think he said there will be Breath of the Wild 2 news. Later this year, they at least can, like, he said it himself, so it has to happen. Yeah, please just give us a single crumb. Get
more anniversary stuff.
Me too. Yeah, totally. Like
it's still early, it's March at the end of the day, so
we didn't know about the Mario anniversary stuff until we were like 80% of the way through last year.
Yeah, they announced it like way late in September, and I could totally see it being a thing where like COVID happened, and it's at least from
the like all got pushed forward.
Yeah, like the vibe I've gotten, is like everything just kind of got shifted, and because now we are still celebrating Mario, the 35th year of Mario, for another month until he dies,
until they yeet him out of it.
Yeah, he literally just gonna grab him and just throw him into a grave.
Send his ass to Dracula's castle and end up
36 is too damn old. Get out of
here. Yeah. Too many. We literally almost every Mario game is on the Switch now. We don't need you anymore, and just throw him into a grave, and he's done. But yeah, I agree. Like I think there will be more Zelda stuff. What it is, I'm not sure. I'm not. Because I think like a lot of people expected.
Going to get the other Wii U ports.
Yeah, that's really it.
Yeah, I could say
maybe even the 3DS ones. Who knows?
Yeah, that's honestly that would be my hope, as they do like maybe they take like maybe we get like Wind Waker HD, and maybe then like a small collection of like here's Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask like updated, like just take the 3DS versions, make them HD, and then throw them together as a pack on Switch. I'd buy that.
Make it a limited thing.
Yes.
So people get mad next year when they may or may not take them off the shop. Who knows?
You have until August 31st to have fun.
Until Boy Zelda is dead.
Yeah, exactly. Boy Zelda is dead, and then it's only Breath of the Wild. That timeline is over. They can just chop that timeline off. No more.
And it's the Legend of Ganondorf.
Shit.
Yeah, I'd play that game. You don't have to sell me. You'd tell me nothing else about that game, and I'd still play it.
It's just him sleeping for 100 years.
Exactly.
Sim,
yeah, totally.
In the Gerudo Desert, so it's like really hard.
But yeah, that was kind of what they showed for Zelda. Like, I think we'll see more Zelda some point this year. I would say at least at the minimum, it would be probably after the Mario stuff ends. Like it'll probably be like March. Sometime post March, I think, maybe even post Skyward Sword.
I would say like post June is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, because I feel like even them like being like here's like a bunch of like ported like Wind Waker or ported like these 3DS remakes. Like even that I feel like would take the wind sails out of Skyward Sword HD a little bit.
Exactly, they know
folks.
Skyward Sword has to be by itself, or else no one's gonna buy that shit. So like.
Yeah,
because all these Skyward Sword defenders came out on Twitter and were like, "Hey, this game's better.
Yeah.
It's a better Zelda game than Breath of the Wild." And I was like,
"Whoa,
no, yeah, I can't."
And I was like, "Yeah, but when Wind Waker comes out of it, you're gonna be like, yeah, but I don't care about this game anymore."
Yeah, that's
the truth.
Those are spicy people you're seeing.
I gotta stop following all these people on Twitter. That's
those people are dumb. Block them.
I can't even. There's some takes I'll die. There's some hills I'll die on, but not a Skyward Sword HD. Skyward Sword in general. I haven't even played that game, but I can watch some YouTube videos and be like, yeah, this does not look that. This looks fine, but not like worth defending and. Yeah, compared to other Zelda games,
this isn't the hill to die on.
Yeah, it's not the hill to die on.
You're like this. I mean, I don't hate it, but being like the game that everybody universally loves and it makes Zelda like the thing that people. It's like, oh shoot, it is a big Nintendo franchise now. Another one that's not Ocarina of Time broke 10 million, and with one version of the release, nice.
This.
I don't know if that's the game to be like. Actually, it's bad though. Like, okay.
This formula we did like 4 times before this and other 3D games that we're just gonna do again, but now you're waving a Wii remote around.
Guys, the last dungeon is a Jenga dungeon. You move the pieces around, right? It's like a puzzle pieces.
And then it's
a puzzle piece and a puzzle and a puzzle game. Yeah, I'm down, dude.
Puzzleception.
No wonder they're porting it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of the Zelda stuff. And then we got one last tease. One last wonderful tease.
It's true. I'm very down. Give it to me now.
Splatoon 3, baby. I got
How dare you say 2022 at the end of this?
Yeah, I know.
How dare they? Personal attack.
Yeah. Gonna make you pay up, dude.
Yeah, honestly, personal attack.
Yeah. Yeah, they did like a little tease. I thought it was a wonderful tease though, because it was like here's like the weird stuff we've kind of had like in some of the background of Splatoon, like especially in the single player stuff in the previous two games. Here it is full frontal of just like here's a squid kid walking through an abandoned like a wasteland.
Yeah, and people ask for this. They're like, "Oh, you want chaos? This is the aftermath of chaos.
Here's
everything dies.
Yeah, everything's dead. Here's the Eiffel Tower just like crashed into the upside down in the back in ruins. It's just like, what in the world is happening?
I Am Legend, the Splatoon game. You even have your salmon and dog analogy or whatever, and he's gonna die. You're gonna have to freaking kill him with your bow.
Yeah, so you have to like, shoot the fish down.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, but
and there's like character creation at the beginning too. Am I correct in saying like it let you choose between like an Octoling and a yeah, which is cool. Like that's just like continuing Splatoon forward. It's rad.
Yeah. It's really cool.
It seems like this has like a way bigger focus on like the story, because like just in how they present the character creation in the first two Splatoon games, it's like, oh yeah, this is a multiplayer game. It's like, all right, here's a background gradient for when you're designing your thing, but like for this game, it's like you're in the world, and it's like you see your character, and like there's like the whole thing of like, oh, I'm designing my eyes now, let me take my glasses off. All right, it's my mouth's turn. All right, I'm taking my mask off. You know,
they're getting into the setup of the character totally, and then like you had that weird like, you know, the character sitting on the train with all the weird fish people. You're like some of those fish were like the first time you've like seen Splatoon. I love like they're just like weird one-offs like that of just like showing these weird fish people that like exist in this world somehow. And then they show like, but then they like get to like, hey, it's still also just, it's still Splatoon. Like here's the character in this clearly like lobby hub area zone with like a bunch of other little squid kids in the background like standing around, and then they show like the kids like in a, you know, coming to a match, and then they're on like a stage doing, you know, shooting, banging around. Yeah, and it was just like, okay, yep, excellent, great. This is what I want.
So Go ahead, AJ.
I feel like it's just like an expanded version of like what the DLC was like, where you got on the train or the subway, and it's like, all right, you're in the DLC. I think that's what this is going to be. It's like, okay, you still have the multiplayer side of Splatoon. It's like still the 4v4 different like game modes and stuff like that. Maybe there'll be a couple new ones. They're still going to do Turf War, obviously. But then you get on the train and you go out, and then that's the like open world side of it, right?
Yeah. That actually would be really cool. Like now we're getting into speculation territory, of course, but it would be really cool if like like that lobby area was just like an area, and you can just walk out of the lobby, and then you're just like in a big world, and then that's like where then you'll like go around and like find like Splatoon levels essentially like in the world or whatever, and like you'll do little challenges, and like that's like, you know, you're like doing story stuff that way. That'd be cool. But I'm curious, like how deep they're going to go in with that stuff, because it does feel like they're maybe more focused on making the single player stuff much more of a thing in this one, which is cool, because I still like the stuff in the first two games too.
Yeah.
People really liked the expansion for Splatoon 2.
Yeah,
I think
it's
that
good.
like did better maybe than they thought it would, but also like it's cool thinking. I know some people think maybe it's a little early for Splatoon 3, but you have to think like Splatoon 2 came out in 2017, which like it's crazy to think, but it's a completely different world for the Switch now. Like it is so much bigger than anything else.
I think this is the longest period we've had without a new Splatoon game since Splatoon started. Because Splatoon 1 took give or take 11 months from beginning to end of development. Then Splatoon 2 came out in 2017, and then we had the DLC, but that wasn't like all hands on deck. We're developing a new video game levels of investment development wise. So we're sitting on 4 years without a Splatoon game, which would be a very long development cycle for something that started out taking 11 months.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally. So
and it's they're filling this game up with a ton of stuff too. And like what I was gonna say is, I think like for me, the trailer was cool, but what took it over was like they still had Splatoon. Like it still like showed what this game is,
Right.
And it takes it over the edge of like I'm thinking about Nintendo's other teaser trailers, such as the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Like,
right?
what even is this? What is this?
We still don't know, right?
Here's a here's a Samus symbol in space and, and a little logo.
Yeah.
That we saw
so
like 4 years ago.
This had it's like it's still Splatoon. You're still gonna get your 4v4. You're probably gonna get other stuff, and like there's a lot of mystery. So yeah, I just thought it was such a good trailer, such a good tease for this game.
Yeah, agreed. And like I think like speaking a little bit outside of just Splatoon, another thing that came to my mind is like obviously like people are still hoping and waiting for that Switch Pro to become a reality. Like in some ways, I could see considering next year, which another big game that was shown with the Pokemon stuff. Like next year we get Splatoon 3, maybe hopefully Breath of the Wild 2, maybe.
I could still see it come out, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, depending.
Or at least it was like intended for this year, and they Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Story, where it's like, all right, we're doing March 3rd.
It'll be like
5th anniversary.
Totally. And another game that we'll talk about in a little bit, the Pokemon Legends. Like these seem like much bigger, expansive games than they were before, and also like in a way like sort of.
We should talk about that.
We're gonna talk. Yeah, we're definitely gonna talk about that. But it's sort of like, that again, like you said, like Splatoon 2 was 2017. And now we're in 2021. It's a different life for the Switch. It almost feels like it could be like a reset point next year. And be like, here's Switch Pro. It's still the Switch. It can still play all the games. But it can play them better. Maybe not like, I don't think it'll be like some dramatic overhaul. Like I think it'll be like a similar jump to like a PS4 to a Pro, or like an Xbox to a Series X, like we had last generation, where like it's just gonna run the game. Like the games will probably load a little faster. They'll probably run better. Like stuff like that will be definitely big things, but then that also lets them go like, here, let's kind of reset our games too, and be like, here's Splatoon 3, here's Breath of the Wild 2, here's maybe like a new Mario Kart or something like that too, because that did crazy on Switch, and that was like literally a port of
still the best selling game on the platform.
Yeah, and like they could.
Meanwhile, it's a decade old or something.
Yes, exactly. They could 100% like next year be like Mario Kart 9, boom, and that game will like blow up and probably be sell
better than Animal Crossing. It's like the only game that would, right?
Yeah,
like
totally. And I'd be in, and like that'd be an easy like big, like they can do what those half step consoles did for those ones, and be like, here's like a new kind of like sort of a new starting point to let us like keep developing stuff on Switch and like make it better, but you still have a Switch and still a handheld system. These games will still work on the base Switch, maybe not run as nicely or things like that, and it'll be a little rough for some games, but I think
I don't think that'll matter for a large swath of the audience, because they're like, it's a tablet. I'm not expecting it to be PlayStation 5,
Yeah. That's the nice little spot they've made for themselves, and that fits like Nintendo's hardware development cycle to like every 4 or 5 years, So we'll see. Plus, I just want that just because it means we'll get more years of Switch, and we're living the high life right now. So
they just make a whole entire new Smash Bros somehow. Fuck it,
do it. Yeah,
Madman.
That would also mean they wouldn't have to. So.
Yeah, that's also
and I would be okay with that.
This is the thing: make another Smash game and take out characters. How about that?
Whoa. Yeah.
Now not including Bayonetta.
This whole video.
Yeah. It just comes. It's just Ultimate, but like every few weeks they'll just say like, hey, this character is Banjo-Kazooie is only available for 3 more weeks.
Yeah.
It's like shit.
Play as Banjo until the end of November.
That would be funny. But yeah, that's by and large that's kind of the big bits of Nintendo Switch reveals and news that we got. There was some other like smaller stuff. Like we said up front, Outer Wilds, Fall Guys, a lot of the games that have been out on other platforms come to Switch. Stubbs the Zombie, baby.
Ninja Gaiden Collection is also super weird. That like that's finally coming into existence, but it's on a Nintendo platform.
Yeah. There's a lot of weird, like small like old PS1 JRPGs finally coming, like
Legend
Saga.
of Mana is cool.
Yeah, like Legend of Mana HD, Saga Frontier. Like there's a bunch of weird.
They wasted 3 minutes of that conference on Sub Zombie.
We'll never get it back.
We'll never get it back.
But
overall, it was solid though.
Yeah, overall it was solid. I definitely think, like we said, it was a usual direct like internet reaction of like overreacting because they wanted their one thing.
It's the worst thing of all time. We didn't.
Get
second coming. So
it's the worst thing of all time.
It was nice to have the Band-Aid ripped off, right? Like now directs can be just whatever. Obviously the internet will still be the discourse.
You'll still get your Bayonetta 3 summoning circle Twitter posts and being like trash direct because they didn't show Bayonetta 3.
The very specific thing that I wanted.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. But one day we'll get there. That was the first news bit. Do you want to take a quick break or do we want to just go right into the next thing?
I feel like the Pokemon hype is like it's building over here. So
Pokemon hype. Let's roll into it, baby. So we finally got the 25th anniversary of Pokemon has happened this past weekend from which we're recording. First off, the biggest one. Did y'all watch that Post Malone?
I was about to say Post Malone said the sex word in front of Lugia.
Yeah. Purified.
Yeah.
I saw Umbreon just like bumping out. Like,
there was the vibing.
Yeah,
there's the literally shot for shot an Umbreon, like a 3D Umbreon just doing like the vibing cat meme.
Yeah, just like
there's somebody at the Pokemon company who was really stoked and like really just like, we gotta do this, guys, come on, think of that the meme factor, the Pokemon meme factor we're gonna get from this, come on. And they did it. They did it.
I guess they weren't wrong.
It's true.
At the end of the day, it's sad, but sure. No, I didn't watch it, but I weirdly like this is where Pokemon being so huge is so weird. Like my roommate watched it because he knows Post Malone, but he doesn't like Pokemon. It was like, this is what? All right, fine.
Yeah, that was like the weirdest thing to me was not the actual performance because they put like a song out from it that's like I guess it's like a new song from him. And it was just the weirdest combination. Yes, it was such a bizarre combinations of like here. I saw it when I woke up one morning. The morning it dropped. It was just a tweet with a picture of like a Pikachu like tail, and it's just read. And it was from the Pokemon like Twitter, just like here's Post Malone covering a Hootie and the Blowfish song. Like I'm just like, what am I looking at right now? Just like this combination of like Pokemon and the Hootie and the Blowfish and Post Malone. I was like, what is happening? Am I still in the dream?
Like a Pokemon animator had to draw all of Post Malone's tattoos. Like it's just knowing that like makes me feel happy for
some guy, really had to painstakingly make a.
They had an 8K image in Photoshop, in 6,000%, getting every splash of ink just right.
Just weird weird like Postbone who looks like he actually has like a Fortnite skin or some weird.
It doesn't even look like a Pokemon character at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's super weird. Like I didn't watch too much of it, but I just like skimmed through it and saw a lot of Twitter posts. But it was fun. Memes.
Yeah. I will give a shout out to the for the Pokemon Direct, the little intro video that they had for that.
That's a good place to start. Yeah, we like the day before that, the actual news I think people were waiting for the 25th anniversary with new Pokemon game announcements. And they did like a Pokemon Direct or a Pokemon Presents thing the Friday morning. And they started off because it was the 25th anniversary of Pokemon, and it was like this really like nice, like you said, it was a really cool little video of like it like flashing a year where it was like 1989, and then it's like here's our, and then it showed
all
like
the spin-offs, baby.
Look at all the things that we do.
Yeah, look at literally
Pokemon
everything we
like,
made.
Video games and are like, nah, man, cards, freaking plush, cafes, like they're in every spectrum of the entertainment industry plus more.
Yeah, and it was really funny watching that and just getting more and more elaborate or more and more ridiculous things of like here's like the later GBA games when they're putting like a card reader that's like swiping cards into the GBA, and then we're like going from that into like mobile games, and then we're going to the movies and like all kinds of stuff, and like it was like a really cool thing to like really realize like like Pokemon is like this, or at least remembering, because it's like you always think about it like Pokemon is pretty big, and then you see that you're like, oh, Pokemon's fucking big.
Then you were like, oh yeah, like Pokemon's like Disney big. Like, Pokemon's like big, big.
See, the thing is, like, because I make videos about Pokemon often, I like find myself constantly telling people this, where it's like everybody's like, why isn't Pokemon Breath of the Wild? It's like they hear part of the stat where they're like, it's the biggest media franchise, like it should be Breath of the Wild big. They need to put more money in it, and it's like, but the video games make up like 18% of their revenue. Like,
it's bigger than Breath of the Wild already. Like they've already figured that out. Honestly.
No, but I'm like saying, like video game wise, it's not like for them when they're looking at like, okay, what do we invest our money in? They're like, 60% of our revenue is like plush. All right, let's make $400 Psyducks. You know,
exactly.
Let's make Breath of the Wild. You know,
totally. It's all merchandising. Like Pokemon merchandising at this point, and also like Pokemon Go, I think is a really big one too.
And the card game makes just as much as the video games do. That's the thing that's most wild to me.
That actually is holy shit. But that was a really nice touching showcase from that, and then they showed the first thing they did, like another update on new Pokemon Snap, and that game continues to look so good.
I didn't realize there was like fully underwater levels, and I just like the potential of that with like Pokemon is just so cool. You always like, you always like watch Pokemon movies or like the cartoons and stuff, and see those shots, right, of like here's like a quick shot of underwater, and it's a huge flurry of fish Pokemon and like the Wailord always and stuff. You're just like, oh, sick. Or now it's like that's like a video game, like freaking
Wishy-Washy, where it's like a school of Wishy-Washy turned into a giant Wishy-Washy, like that sort of stuff. Like they'll probably have that in Pokemon.
That's so cool.
That is super cool.
I can definitely see the thing where it's like you're throwing Pokemon food to like bait small Wishy-Washy into forming a big one. Like that'll probably be one of the emergent gameplay loops.
That's so cool. And they
I know. Pokemon Snap is the best.
This game's gonna be so great, and I think people like sitting here thinking about it. That's just like, I can't.
Yeah. Wait, Pokemon Snap is like the vibe that Pokemon like that I want from Pokemon 24/7.
That's all I want. Just watching, just like living in the world and watching it.
Because that's the coolest part about Pokemon. Like the world is the sickest part.
Totally.
You just get to hang out and watch Pokemon. Like, what else do you want from a video game?
It looks so good. And pretty much everything they showed is like, I feel like they're doing the right things by this. Of like, they're like their own version of social media inside the game, and you can share
Pokemon Instagram.
And you can like share photos to like your friends or just online, and then those get like likes within the social media app in the game, and then like they'll go like into featured, and like you can show off all the photos of the Pokemon.
And just like that it works so well with like Snap too, because like for me some of those best parts was like, oh, like I didn't know I could do that. Like I didn't know I could put Charmeleon, push him into the lava to make him Charizard. It's like I'll go on there probably and see like, oh, like I didn't even know Snorlax was in that level or something.
Yeah,
like
totally.
That. And have to go back and figure out how to find him and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And just this being like, so many people think of new Pokemon Snap and they're like, this, like, how long is this game going to be? Like the N64 version's like a couple hours, blah, blah, blah. But it's like just the more modern state of game, like game development and stuff like that guarantees that we're going to have that, but more of that, you know, where each Pokemon Snap, the original game level, probably had like 5 things like that, where it's like, oh, if you throw the apple here, this will happen. But this game, I feel like will have dozens, if not more than that. Yeah, like per level, and probably more levels, you know?
Yeah. Which is like, even if it's like 7 or so hours, like that's all I could want. And I'll replay it every year just because like the vibe is so good. So
just replay it a bunch and so many like, I definitely see myself being that person of like, I gotta find everything. I gotta figure out all the little intricacies I'm really excited to do that. And yeah, that's a month, like a little bit over a month away. It's like April.
Yeah, it's the end of April.
April 30th or something like that. It's close to that. Gosh, yeah, can't wait for that. Gonna be so excited. We're gonna, you know what we should do, Alex? In the meantime, just as a random tangent, we should stream of like a playthrough that the first one.
I got it. I have it on Wii U, so we can do we can do it.
I was gonna say I haven't played it in like, geez, I haven't played in years.
It's still great.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Doesn't
yeah,
control very great, but it's still fun to play.
Yeah. So yeah, that we should do that. After that, we got the reveal. I think like everybody, I felt like everybody knew this was coming, but
yeah,
it was nice.
I was very curious what the names were going to be.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, Generation 4 of Pokemon, the first original DS games are being remade for Switch. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. People were hot and heavy about the look of this game, but
so I was co-streaming this on my Twitch channel, and right before they started this director or whatever, there was a lot of people talking about it leaked, and people were like, "Oh, I'm getting back into Pokemon. It's sick." Blah blah blah, all this other stuff. And then when I saw the beginning of this, I was like, "Oh, there's something else. They're announcing a new thing." Because I know people are mad about this remake specifically. People are mad about this. This wasn't what they're talking about.
Totally, yeah. Because like, I mean, I kind of like. I mean, with a lot of Pokemon games, when they show them for the first time, they actually aren't the final versions that they look like. Like there's a lot of like famously, like, you know, when they first showed Pokemon X and Y, it looked pretty rough even on the 3DS for their first 3D game. But then like they showed it towards launch again, and like it looked much nicer. Like, and they changed like camera angles and did a bunch of stuff. So like they could do similar stuff with this game, but like I kind of appreciate it for trying like a much different look in some regards, just because like they're kind of trying to like replicate those original kind of chibi sprites in a 3D environment, and like I thought it
was cute. Like
I think it was cute. And like you still gonna get the like more traditional looking trainers and Pokemon stuff in the fights, it looks like. So like it's definitely like going off those original vibes of those original games, where like in the overworld you're chibi, but in battles and stuff maybe there'll be like, we didn't really see like a whole lot of the game, like maybe there'll be like cutscenes or something, where you might see the trainers as more proper trainers or something like that. But
it feels like the original game, like Diamond and Pearl and Let's Go, had a baby. Because it's like the battles look like Pokemon Let's Go, and the overworld looks like just a HD version of the original games.
Yeah,
because the original games were 3D? Oh my god, I hate everything. I hate it.
It's 2D HD.
Because that's what the original games look like. Yeah, like you're a chibi character, and it has like this like sprite, like approximation of what 3D would be. This time it's just 3D models of that.
I like the look of this. I also like Gen 4 for me also in general was just like that was like a soft spot in my heart, because that was like, I would say like not to get on to ranking them, but I would say it's probably like my second favorite gen behind Gold and Silver Gen 2, because I think Gen 2 is like really like that gen for me that like reaffirmed how much I like Pokemon at a very young age, and it was like formative and just like liking my video games period. And then I kind of like fell off of, like I played some of that, but then I got into Ruby and Sapphire, and then wasn't enjoying those as much and kind of fell off, and then jumped back in when these came out, and this was that one that I like put hundreds of
I definitely like Pokemon.
Pokemon, amazing. And I put like hundreds of hours into it, and then like the same thing with like when Platinum came out, I played a bunch of that. And then of course, then right after that was Heart Gold and Silver. And then
Heart Gold was like the closest thing I think I have to that, because I never really fell out of Pokemon. I always like had a base level of like, I love this. My favorite thing. But like Gen 4, that's my exposure to it. I don't really like Diamond and Pearl. I'm kind of iffy on that because the pacing of the games is kind of weird. I'm hoping that this fixes that. But I'm just super down for anything new Pokemon.
Yeah,
so.
totally. Yeah. I'm there for these. I like Gen 4. There's a lot of Pokemon that I like a lot from that generation. Torterra is an OG starter in my opinion. He's a good one. I like Torterra a lot.
Great. This was like I was really curious what their answer to this was going to be of like, all right, we're going to do remakes in the Switch era, and presumably they're not all going to be Let's Go games. Like, what is this going to look like? And I don't know. I kind of like that they went with the more one-to-one thing. Obviously, we're not really gonna know how we feel about it until we're like hours deep.
Yeah, because that's also a good point too. Of like, I'm curious. Like, I mean, like I think there's a similar thing again with like the older games where like, so I think with like one of the recent Pokemon games, they showed when they first showed it, like you didn't really see Pokemon in the overworld in a way that like they're doing in these newer games where they didn't show that in this one. Now that I'm thinking about it, like I'm curious.
Yeah, it's probably not. I doubt it's
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Yeah, if they went all the way
that'd
back.
Be cool if they did it. But.
Yeah, if there's like maybe like shadows and stuff, kind of like in Sword and Shield that are like rarer Pokemon.
Yeah, I'm curious. Yeah, like how much they'll take. And like I think you all said earlier, AJ, like they're it's like a different studio. They're kind of
I think that's the most interesting part about this because a huge complaint a lot of people have with Pokemon games now is their cycle, and their cycle has always been the same. It's always been a thing of like, okay, the games are just part of their marketing machine. And they're only allowed, not like in the like you're not allowed to do that, but they're only afforded enough time to make a game within that. So it's like, okay, well, we got to do this generation of Pokemon. There has to be Pokemon this year. If there's no game to drive that forward, then what are we going to do? And they kind of set themselves up with Sword and Shield and the DLC and how the anime is like not directly based on that to allow themselves more wiggle room in the future. And now that they're doing this, where it's like Game Freak's not completely on it, they have Junichi Masuda on it, but it's mostly developed by Ilka, who worked on Pokemon Home. This allows them to do that more in the future with other things. And also Pokemon Legends was
yeah that'll be next for sure. It's that like you said, that's a really curious. So like I'm really curious how that'll pan out for them, and I'm curious again, like you said, Alex, of like talking about Let's Go, like does this also open a pathway where, like you said, it gives them more wiggle room to, let's say they make a Gen 4 remake this year, they have maybe they have Legends, which is a different thing. Again, we'll get deeper into that, which is early next year. But maybe we get a Let's Go game now in place of whatever the next gen was in the meantime, and then we get like the next gen. Because like I'm curious. Like I don't know if they'll because like I know like you said, like the Pokemon big cog machine for a while, like those were literal yearly games they were putting out. So I'm wondering if they're slowly trying to get back to that point where they can do yearly games by doing this, maybe, or at least seeing how it goes, right? Like let's put a smaller team on a remake and let them do that while the bigger team works on the mainline games, and then they can like that smaller team can then just be like, all right, we're making Diamond and Pearl for this, and then we're gonna move on to maybe Let's Go for like next year, and then the bigger team will finally have Generation 9 maybe a year after that. And maybe that's how they get back on that yearly cycle, if that's what they really want.
Yeah, to me it feels like they're reconfiguring. It's like, hey, Call of Duty can put 5 years of development into every game, but still have yearly releases. Why can't we?
Yeah, exactly.
They just had to put their ducks in a row to set that up.
Yeah,
to allow more time for each game to be developed, but not interrupt the cycle.
Yeah. I'm curious. Yeah, if they'll again, this is all speculation ultimately, but I'm curious if that's the direction they'll go, or maybe they will just have like more split releases where like maybe we'll have Diamond and Pearl remake this year, and then we do get Gen 9 maybe like next year, or and then they do the DLC thing again, where with Gen 9 they have DLC the following year, and then we have whatever is after that. So yeah, I'm very curious like where they're gonna go with their cycle now. Like you said, that they're drastically changing it because they have to make games on the Switch. Gonna be interesting stuff to see where they go. But Pokemon, those Gen 4 remakes, I'm there. I'm stuck for those.
I'm down. I want it. Give it to me now.
All right, now let me set the scene for you. You're on a cliff face. And the camera zooms in across over your left shoulder, and then you see an open world. It's The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Pokemon.
But then you realize it's not that, and then you have to walk. Then you have to go walk the whole side of the cliff to get to a walkway, and you have to walk down and
you can't get around
because you can't climb.
Oh no, this is what you do. You're like Pidgey. You throw Pidgey out and you freaking paraglide with Pidgey.
Yeah, come on. Yeah. They showed the Gen 4 remakes, and they were, but then they were like, oh wait, we got one more thing. Pokemon Legends, Arceus, however you want to say it.
I forget how they said it. They said
Arceus. Yeah,
they say Arceus.
It's supposed to be Arceus. I think it was like originally Arceus, and then they're like, wait, that's Arce. We said Arce. We can't say that in a Pokemon game. And they're like, all right, it's Arceus now.
Yeah. That's funny. They showed the thing that like people have been wanting them to kind of do for a while now, and make a bigger, more open Pokemon game. And I think Breath of the Wild happened, and then of course now everyone just points to that thing. But I feel like before that it was like, let's make a Pokemon MMO, which was like the bigger, more expanded Pokemon world kind of thing. Like that was like the thing people were clamoring for. And now we're here, and there's like you're saying, they're literally showing big sweeping shots and big open fields in this trailer, and I'm just sitting here being like, this looks cool, but boy, is this setting an expectation that people are like not gonna like this is gonna be rough, considering like, man, like I again we said at the top of the show, like I like Pokemon Sword and Shield. It's like it was that cool, like it's not my favorite Pokemon game out of all of them, but it was a cool game in that like it clearly shows like how they're thinking about Pokemon now that it's on a mainline, that's on an HD console. They're trying to build into a bigger world and a bigger thing, and they got parts of the way there. Like the wild area, it was like a little weird, but like a cool zone. But it was kind of bizarre in spots because they were trying to cram so much into one area. But then I feel like with the 2 DLCs that came after Sword and Shield, I feel like that's when like I saw those and was like, all right, now I really see this potential of like you're making these way more interesting environments. Like there's big open seas you can like drive around on, and there's like Sharpedo and like Pokemon out in the water that'll interact with you and chase you. There's like big cliffs and like cave entryways you can go into, and the Pokemon are just in the caves hanging out with you, and you can go interact with them, and they'll react to you, and like they're like if they like those. It felt like they were finally starting to make that way to that, right? Which was really exciting. So now we see this, and like this to me does not feel like they're all the way there.
Yes, it's not. See, this is the thing. Like I've talked about this a little bit on a podcast I was on last night. Podcast. And I think that they're pretty clear that this is not a mainline game. A lot of people are looking at this at like, oh, it's the Breath of the Wild of Pokemon, and in a sense, yes, but I think that this is more analogous to like a Pokemon Coliseum or a Pokemon XD than it is a Pokemon Sword and Shield or a Pokemon Red and Blue, but it's Breath of the Wild eyes, I think that this is them dipping their toe further into the waters of open world Pokemon and being like, okay, but like, what if we make it more seamless? What if we like change what the trainer can do in the world and make the open world matter to the gameplay and then not just be like set dressing?
Yes.
I think people are going to be disappointed if they think that this is going to be Gen 9 or whatever, but open world, like this is a stopgap on their way to that.
Yeah. And I think they like at least try to like, again, I think it has already gotten away from them a little bit already. Because I feel like literally every major place had already ran with Breath of the Wild Pokemon. Oh my god! So it's like kind of already too late. Where I feel like at this point, I as somebody who played a bunch of more, who played those DLCs, I think that's why I think maybe if you played those Sword and Shield DLCs and then look at this, you can see like a more direct line. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like, oh, this is more evolution. This isn't like they're not here. This isn't their destination. It's another stop on their road.
Because it still looks a lot like that stuff of like if you actually pause and people are like, oh my god, there's these big open areas. Holy crap! But if you pause and look, it is a big kind of flat area. So I don't think it's gonna be a thing where like I'm like I'm my character's like climbing up walls or I'm like gliding around too much. Like I see a scenario where like they will probably give you like some kind of Pokemon to like get on and ride around, I'm sure, like so you can more quickly move around the areas. Maybe even like a Pokemon to fly on and like get over stuff, but I like do not see it getting like as elaborate as like stuff like there's things you can do in Breath of the Wild.
I could see them flirting with Breath of the Wild stuff. That's not really the part that I'm worried about. I just think that the scope of the game's not going to be as big as people think. Like it's going to be like Breath of the Wild, but in a much smaller world. Especially since like they're calling this an action RPG and the combat, like battling with Pokemon, does not look like that, So I think that a lot of the gameplay is going to be focused on exploring the world literally and being like, oh, I gotta catch that Pokemon, but I can only catch that Pokemon if I can climb up there and if I can jump far enough to grab the tree to like like that sort of stuff.
Sure.
But it's going to be a smaller world than like a regular Pokemon. It's not going to be a Pokemon game in the amount of towns and stuff like that, but those towns are just less linear and wide open, and it's not going to be that. It's gonna be like a small, like a sandbox version of Breath of the Wild's world with some of those mechanics and Pokemon.
Yeah, and I think like the one thing I think a lot of people were also calling out was like they show in the trailer the character has like a dodge roll and stuff, which like I think people were like making it seem like again there was another thing where like I think they're like blowing up with like, oh my god, the Pokemon's gonna come up and murder you or something like that. But it's like I don't think it's gonna be that crazy. I think it'll just be they're like in the wild area where Pokemon can chase you down and start a fight with you. Like there will be Pokemon that can chase you down and probably faster than you, and they can hit you, and that'll start a battle. And in some cases that's a bad thing because like even in the wild area in Sword and Shield, like you can run into Pokemon that are like 20-30 levels above you. So like I see a scenario where it's just something like that where it's like you have a dodge roll so you can move out of the way of a fight, because even in Sword and Shield in the DLC like that could get super frustrating when you like get into an area and it's like sort of a little bit confined parts of the wild area and like, oh, here's a Pokemon just appeared and it's faster than my character, so I just get ran into and now I'm stuck in a fight.
I can see it also being an offensive thing. Like in the sense where the goal of the game is to catch Pokemon more than ever, it seems. And some Pokemon are not trying to have that, they're like, nah, man, leave me alone. So you got to do the whole stealth thing. You're like, going prone through the grass, and then it's like, all right, I'm right here, I'm so close, but if I get up and I walk, it's going to see me, so I'm just going to dive into it.
And I think go ahead, Alex.
I was gonna say like the things that like immediately tempered expectations for me, and like the three of us probably had like know what to look for and listen for that, but it's set in the past. It's set in a region we've already been to, right? Like it's Sinnoh again, and it has starters, right, like that we've seen before. But I will say I think it's really cool to have like rando starters.
I agree. Across them, that was the thing that tipped me off though. Like when I saw the starters, I was like, oh yeah, okay, this is a small game. This is not super small. Like I think it's probably going to be like 20-ish hours or something like that.
But it's clearly like a spin-off.
Again, it's going to be like a Gale of Darkness Coliseum sort of thing. Very story focused, no like competitive, none of that stuff. But just the fact that there's like, here's 3 different starters from 3 different regions. And it doesn't seem like real rhyme or reason to it unless there's like story significance. I know like Game Explain pointed out something about how it's like, oh, one of them's based on a samurai and blah blah, like feudal Japan and all that stuff. So that part's neat, but I think eventually the dream is that there's going to be like different Pokemon starters that you choose and stuff like that, but you're going to be able to like select from all of them in the grand scheme of things. Like how Mystery Dungeons does it, where it's like, I took this quiz and apparently I'm from the Kanto region, so I have the choice of the Kanto starters, but I don't think they're there yet.
And I think that 100%, like I just think they're not there yet, but they are clearly like looking to move at least in a direction where like at least this is like a maybe it doesn't make its way into the mainline games, but it is at least like a game like these games like Pokemon Legends can exist as like a separate franchise of Pokemon spinoffs that continue, and then you'll get like Pokemon Legends Johto or Pokemon Legends whatever, and it's similar style of game of like, and maybe they're a little bit more evolved versions of those, and I can
see Legends being like if Pokemon Let's Go is like this subcategory for like casual Pokemon fans, Legends is like the hardcore subcategory where it's like, okay, we're gonna like try to move the franchise forward in smaller bite-sized pieces where it's like, okay, we made Legends Arceus, here's what we learned from that, and we're going to implement that in the next thing. In the same way that they did that with Let's Go, where it's like, okay, Let's Go is the first Pokemon game that has just straight up overall Pokemon, and then they brought that into the mainline games. The mainline games didn't become Let's Go, but they took certain aspects from it, and I think that's what's going to happen with Legends Arceus.
Yeah,
totally. And I think that's like, honestly, if they can nail that direction, like I'm all for it, because like I know some people are a little bit tired of those like more mainline RPG style Pokemon games, but I still enjoy them a lot, and I think they're still fun, and like I see it, like you said, like I see a scenario where they can start taking aspects from those and incorporating them into newer Pokemon games, but I would still like to see like, you know, some stuff stick where, you know, I still like a lot of the battle mechanics that are in those mainline Pokemon games. You know, maybe they can incorporate some more aspects where you're like kind of more like fighting in the areas you're in or something. Like maybe like when you're in those, maybe they will keep the more like, you know, you'll have areas that are more straight lined and narrow, like when you're in a town in the mainline Pokemon games. Maybe there will be wild areas again, and they will be like more thought out areas.
Make the environments matter. Like something that I've wanted for a very long time in Pokemon, probably since Pokemon was a thing, was that it was more influenced by the anime in the combat. Because in the anime, it's literally like, oh, I'm near water, I have an electric type, bet I'm using that to my advantage. You're dead. You know. But in the anime, it's in the games, it's just math. It's like, okay, I have the attack that has more points than your points, and you're strong, you're weak to this, so you're just gonna, I'm sorry, you're dead. You're done. I think that the ideal Pokemon game would be that they find some sort of marriage in between the two, because like whenever I bring that up, people are like, oh, you just want Pokken, and it's like, no, I still want there to be like RPG, like it to be some sort of math, you know, and stats matter, but also for people that like want to be mechanically challenged. It's like you can win any port in the storm. Like if you're better mechanically, you can beat somebody that has higher stats than you. But if you have that much higher stats, or you're just that much smarter than your opponent, it doesn't matter that you're not as mechanically sound as they are.
Yeah. And that's totally something they could like totally kind of like experiment with Legends, because like, you know, having those environments, because like they clearly show like the game it reminded me of was Dragon Quest 11, when like when that got updated to like, and they showed like straight up like, hey, you run into a Pokemon, you're just boom, you're in the fight right there, and it starts, and you're like in the place you were.
Can, like, run around and position. I don't think it really matters in that game though. I don't know if it like has any combat advantages. But it's cool. It looks cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think it has advantages in that way. I think
it's not like Xenoblade.
I think you're right, but like you said, like it could they could take those ideas and like incorporate I'm in like a body of water, and like, you know, because I'm trying to think of that aspect too of like, you know, and all the other Pokemon games, you can like get on a bike and go on the water, or get on a Pokemon and go on the water. Like, is that going to be a thing in this game? And like how are the fights going to work in those zones? Like if I'm out on the water, you know, and of course,
I can't use my fire Pokemon.
Yeah, can I not throw this Pokemon out?
Unless it's Charizard and he can fly, you know, like if there's nowhere for this specific Pokemon to be able to battle, you can't use it.
Yeah,
or you use it and it immediately faints.
It just drops into the water and just.
They kind of experimented with that. I don't know if it was Sword and Shield, but like those folks that like were like, I want to fight with my flying Pokemon, but they're going to be in the sky.
Oh, yeah, sky battles.
Battles, yeah.
And it's like, all right, you can only send Pokemon up that can fly.
I think that was that Black and White those were in? I forget which one I was in.
I think it might have been X and Y.
Oh yeah, I think you're right. I think
X or Y or Sun and Moon, one of those two.
Yeah,
I don't remember which
totally
one,
right.
but I thought that was cool.
Yeah, and they can. I'm super curious how they're gonna treat that stuff.
Like, and that's all that mattered there, right? There was like no thing of like, oh, this is a sky battle, so there's new mechanics. It's just like they limited you. It's like it's a sky battle, so I can only use Pokemon that can fly. I think that the peak of this idea would be like, oh, it's a sky battle, so elevation matters now. Like dive so he doesn't hit you, you know, like that sort of stuff.
Or this Graveler wants to fight on this wall. You can only fight with a Pokemon with arms, so it can hold on to the wall.
Or they can fly.
Or they can fly. Yeah. So what was significant to me about this was that like Game Freak opted to make this game instead of Diamond and Pearl, right? Like, and it is that they're the ones making this, that no matter what happens, there will at the very least be significant repercussions for them making this game, right? At the very least, whatever this turns out to be will put the idea in their head of an open world Pokemon, and that's cool.
I think that people have the wrong idea for Game Freak. Like the whole thing is like, oh, Game Freak's lazy, blah blah. Game Freak has been wanting to move Pokemon in a different direction for a very long time, but Pokemon is a freaking multi-billion-dollar corporation that like it has the Call of Duty thing where it's like, if we change too much, people will hate it. If we don't change enough, people will hate it. So what do we do? You know, like, and
it's now a part of this giant corporate machine that like, you know, the merchandising and the anime and all the things surrounding it that are more of the leading force than the game that started it all originally at this point. So now they have to kind of figure out a middle ground, and it's cool. Like I think they are trying to do it with this stuff. Now they're on the Switch. Whether they were forced to do it because they got moved to Switch, maybe there was like a weird blessing disguise there. Who knows if that's or
maybe they probably expedited it for them. Yeah, it was like, wait, our last game was like barely 480p. You're telling us we got to make a 1080p video game now?
We were literally making handheld games for like the past decade. You know how small our team is.
That's 2 decades in fact.
Now we have to like literally like double that easily to like start making these bigger HD games. I'm super curious where this will go, but at the end of the day, as Pokemon fans, we are feasting for sure for this year, and with the video games, because I think there's still like some other games they didn't really touch on in this thing. Like there's like Pokemon Unite and like the Detective Pikachu like Switch sequel.
Yeah, like we still haven't even seen.
Yeah, we haven't seen that at all. I'm curious now. Maybe like that's gone under hidden because maybe they're working on maybe making another movie like Detective Pikachu 2 movie, because that movie did relatively well.
Yeah, I think we know for sure that got greenlit, that they're doing another detective. I think they're doing like, well, this one's more like Deadline, not the Detective Pikachu. I'm pretty sure that's like just straight up confirmed. But there's like Deadline stuff of like they greenlit multiple Pokemon movies. There's like supposed to be like a red and green based one, and there's supposed to be like the seeds of a universe of an MCU Pokemon equivalent.
Interesting.
Great, the PCU.
Yeah, PCU starts now, baby. I'm super stoked to see where this all goes. But I think that's gonna do it for this episode of Trip Nintendoland. We got all the news.
We did.
I don't know if I think we covered everything pretty much.
Yeah, we got it. That was good.
We checked Stubbs the zombie off the list. We did it.
Of course. What kind of podcast would this be if we did not?
Exactly. Yeah. If we didn't cover, if certainly one that does not cover Nintendo news the right way, by bringing up Stubbs the zombie port. AJ, thanks for joining us. Where can people find all your stuff?
You can find me on, just go to twitter.com/Fanatix4. You can find literally my Twitter, Parker's Twitter, all our platforms, our schedule for the week, all that stuff.
Yeah.
FANATIXFOUR.
Excellent.
All the things.
Yeah. You should check out their YouTube channel. Yeah. Because I saw your Pokemon video talking about the Breath of the Wild comparisons. It was a good video. And that's right. We're Irrational Passions, me and Alex. That's right. the video game, either the YouTube channel you're watching this on, youtube.com/irrationalpassions, where the video version of this is. Like we started with the last episode, we're doing video versions of this. So I hope you enjoyed it. But we're also on podcast services. All those nice stuff. So if you prefer to listen on podcast services, we're all there. So just look for Trip to Nintendoland on there. Leave us a rating or sub to us. We appreciate it. We love you. That's gonna do it. Thanks for taking a trip with us to Nintendoland. See you next time, everybody. Bye.
Bye.